Welcome back, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going back to Japan for a single malt whiskey, the Hakushu 12-year-old. Before we go any further though, fans of my channel might know I have a special guest today, my buddy and co-worker Nick.
Hi guys, Nick, the whiskey novice here.
Nick is not a whiskey novice.
I'm an extreme whiskey novice.
Nick has been drinking with me and
For a total of 4 months.
And my boss Adam on Friday nights after work, and he's become quite the whiskey connoisseur. In fact, it's your bottle, this Hakushu 12. And I was impressed, man. You got this bottle, you picked it all by yourself, all by your lonesome. And
Actually, I just got lucky. I went in there looking for they make a blend of this called the Hibiki, and that's what I really wanted. And they were like, "You should go for this." And I was like, "Wow!" And good thing I did. They stopped making this bottle, so
yeah, he got like the last bottle in town. They just like walked in, and some guy said, "Hey, man, if you want that, like we have one of these left ever.
Yeah,
try this."
It worked out well. Because I wasn't looking for it, just stumbled upon it, and sure enough, it's good. It's really good.
Well, we're gonna tell them all about it.
And we are.
So the Hakushu 12-year-old is a 43% ABV single malt Japanese whiskey with a screw top, which I like.
I do like the screw top. I feel like I'm gonna break the cork off sometimes. I'm taking off some of those other whiskey bottles.
And the cork does break, especially with older whiskeys. You know, when people buy them at auction, like whiskeys that were made like the bottled in like the 80s and the 70s, which still happens, people will get those and try to pull the cork off and it'll just bust into dust.
It dries as wood. There's not much you can do
Yeah,
about that.
it's terrible. But those older whiskeys, you get a screw top on them, you don't have to, that's something you don't have to worry about. No. Now, for whatever reason, I feel like a cork is like a more elegant way to have a good whiskey.
It really is. I mean, I like the functionality of the screw top. It looks really nice when it's all said and done, but you know, unscrewing a bottle, it does cheapen the experience a bit. But you know, it is what it is.
Pros and cons. Pros and cons.
Pros and cons.
So this is the first whiskey I've ever done this distillery. I've only done a few Japanese whiskeys. I think I did the Yamazaki 12 and just a couple other small ones. Just to tell you a little bit about this. This distillery, I believe, was founded in, I think I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, 1973. So not very old. It's in the Japanese Alps in Japan. And it was owned by Suntory, but I believe it was bought up by Beam Incorporated.
Yeah, Beam did buy it, and they actually merged together. They're Beam Suntory now.
Nice.
So hopefully that works out well. I know in the past when big conglomerates have bought other, not necessarily whiskey, but liquors in general, sometimes it
tails
quality,
off.
Yeah,
it tails off.
Bit. So hopefully it'll stay good. Hopefully not mingling in too much with it, but.
Well, now they don't make the 12-year-old. Now they're going with non-age statements, so that's kind of the sign of the times. But here's the good thing. We have our hands on this 12-year-old. Not easy bottle to get. I think you paid, what, over $100 for this thing?
It's around 100. You know, as far as whiskeys goes, pretty middle of the ground, really.
Well,
as far as
$100 is a lot, but for a 12-year-old whiskey, it's a lot. But Japanese whiskeys in general are extremely expensive, especially ones like this that are going extinct. But we got it now, buddy.
We did.
Let's take a quick swirl on grass until we think about the color and the nose and the smell. First of all, let me say this. It's natural color because, you know, Japan, the honor system. They wouldn't do something deceiving like color whiskey. Americans would.
They do. And I do like how they don't color it some weird shade of brown. It's natural champagne kind of color.
Yeah, very light gold.
Yeah,
very light gold. And, you know, the whiskey line, when you kind of swirl it around the glass, it takes a little while for the legs to come down.
It does.
Which is impressive for being only 43% ABV and only being a 12-year-old whiskey. It gives the idea of a more older, more viscous, higher ABV whiskey, the way the whiskey legs actually come down. Impressive. Start.
Yeah.
All right, what do you get on the nose? Pine.
Piney. It's a lighter one. You can definitely tell that.
Very light, very clean.
Exactly.
Crisp, pine, grass. I was out cutting my yard yesterday.
Smells like freshly cut grass.
It really does. Well, it's finally got to where it was like over 80 degrees here in Columbus, finally.
Yeah, it's raining and cold.
After I got the grass cut, and we had a nice little rain. And then I had to take my dog outside in the back because I was walking around the backyard with him. Freshly cut grass, a little bit of rain got on top of it. And it's that fresh cut grass with a little bit of dampness to it. I get a little bit of that in the nose. Also, again, walking almost like in a little pine wooded area. You ever play Frisbee golf?
No, I didn't. Not my thing. I'm sorry.
So we wasted a lot of time when I was younger.
It's okay.
We used to play this little game called Frisbee Golf with just what you're thinking. It's basically golf with Frisbees. And here in Columbus, Ohio, up at the Hoover Reservoir.
I'm really glad you explained that, Mike, in case anyone's confused.
In case anyone's confused. It's a tricky name.
Can't Google it.
But up at the Hoover Reservoir, the back nine, as it were, is all through like this wooded area that's all pines.
All right, yeah.
And it smells like that. It's nice. Grass, pine, a little bit of...
I would say kind of maybe pearish, minty almost.
I was going to say there's some fruit flavors coming
Yeah.
up now. It's been in a glass a second. Definitely like stone fruits, but not a plum, but like something like a peach or a pear. Definitely some of that. And just a faint little bit of caramel, but with a nice little vanilla mixed in with that caramel. You get any of that?
I agree, Mike. That all sounds good.
It's almost like a candied. It's like a candied vanilla. It's like mainly vanilla with a little bit of caramel on there. Man, it's really nice.
No, it is really good. I guess maybe hopefully there's some other whiskey novices out there, but I guess to give you a nice frame of mind the way the scent is, it's very light compared to, I don't know. Earlier we were drinking some Taliskers and whatnot, and you can definitely tell that this is a softer,
Yes.
more well-rounded maybe whiskey.
So much more approachable.
Yeah. Easy to walk into if you're someone like myself. You're like, whiskey.
Don't let Nick sell you short. He's
selling you short.
maybe doesn't have decades of experience. So you're only what, 27?
28. Thank you.
28. Sorry. See, later in life, you'll be happy when someone underestimates your age. You're still at the point you're so young when you're like, hey, I'm a year older than that. Until you're 30, it doesn't matter. But Nick has been drinking with me and Adam, again, my other coworker who's a huge bourbon fan. So you've really come a long way in the last few years. And now look at you. Now you're buying $100 bottles all everybody owns.
Well, if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it right.
If there's one thing I should have taught you, it was don't go cheap on whiskey.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Some of this stuff can get really expensive, and like I said, $100, it seems pretty reasonable for really good whiskey.
I agree.
Yeah.
And there's a ton
Can't
of
go
good
wrong.
whiskeys
Yeah.
at that price point. All right, so last sniff before we take a sip. One other thing, when I said stone fruits earlier, now I'm getting a little bit of green apple. You get that at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
Maybe the apple peel. A dry apple peel. A green apple. Maybe Golden Delicious.
Yeah, Mike's really good about that. He has the nose of a bloodhound. He can really pick up on all these great scents, all these stuff I'm missing out on.
Nose like this has got to be good for something, Nick. All right, first sip time. What do you think?
Kind of like what I was talking about earlier. It's a very light, very approachable whiskey. Doesn't bite a lot.
Very smooth.
None of that peppery bite, and again, not even a lot of alcohol bite, to be fair. You know, you get a little bit of warm tingliness in the back of the throat, but aside from that, I mean, this is just a nice, easy drinker, especially on like a hot summer day. Hot, 80 degrees here. It's hot for us, so this is nice to have. You know.
Oh no, it's very, very approachable. And you would even think for a lighter whiskey, it's not peated or not heavily sherried or anything else like that. Even at 43%, you would get a little bit of a bite. Man, there's almost no alcohol bite on this at all.
No, it's silky smooth.
But I tell you what, on the palate though, I'm getting those pine needle again. I'm also getting like a little bit of basil on the palate, and again that slight like green apple peel.
Not getting the basil, but it does remind me a little bit of, I don't know, like I said, the green tea-ish kind of stuff. You getting that at all?
Earlier you said mint, and then
Yeah.
at the linger, it's minty.
It is a little bit. I like mint. It's good.
Very good. Let me add a little bit of water to it. Let's see if this thing can open up a little bit here for us. But yeah, the mint, I didn't get a ton on the nose when you said it, a little bit, but I get the mint on the palate. Lagavulin 12 makes a cask strength, and it's a super peated whiskey. I don't know if I've ever tried that, or let you try that, but there's a bit of a mint characteristic, like mint or tobacco leaf, a menthol tobacco leaf. Well, actually, I think there's a tobacco leaf and they add menthol to it, but so yeah, it's a very, I get the mint, I get the basil with a few drops of water, but now like those green flavors are really coming back up with the water in it. Almost like if green smelled like a color, this is what green would smell like.
No, I think you're really hitting it on the head there, Mike. It's It's foresty.
You know something I didn't notice without water, but I'm noticing now? Kiwi. Like a little bit of kiwi when you add water into it. A little bit of kiwi or a very light strawberry when you add water. But it's a good one, man. It's a real
No,
good
it
one.
is really good. And like I was saying, it's great for this time of year. Things are warming up. You know, you want to sit outside, watch some baseball games. Just a nice crowd pleaser, I guess. Good way to put it.
As far as a whiskey score on this one, I don't know. I usually score whiskeys, you know, give them a score pretty much 85 to 100.
Oh, do you? Okay.
So I'm going to say this is a great solid whiskey. I'm going to give it a great solid whiskey score, which is a 90 out of 100.
That's pretty generous, Mike.
You want to try to give it a score?
Yeah, and I do mine out of dram glasses. So it's 1 out of 10 drams. I'm going to give this an 8.5 drams.
8.5 grams out of 10?
8.5 drams, yeah, 8.5 out of 10.
That's good?
Yeah, it's 8.5 out of 10. That's
Well,
pretty
I
good.
just wanna make
you
sure,
saw
like-
an 8.5 girl, you'd be like, oh, that's pretty good.
Now I understand the scoring system he's going with.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
5 is average. We move up from there.
Well, we want to thank you for once again joining for another whiskey review. If you can get your hands on this Japanese whiskey, I would recommend trying it. Nick?
That way you can. Thanks again, Mike, for having me. I appreciate
No, and thank you for bringing the bottle over.
it. Oh, no worries, man.
It was a
good time.
great whiskey.
We had some fun here.
We'll see you again soon. Till next time, happy drinking.
See you guys.